Hello there, friends. It is Jimmie Maverick, and I got to tell you, there is a lot of stuff happening in the league right now. A lot of changes that are all happening last minute. I want to let you know that my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, is keeping on top of this, making sure that we have players in accurate locations so you know when you need to get them, because there are some guys that are moving up huge right now on the draft list. Cat's out of the bag. Word is out on these players, and you've got to be sure you got to take them before anybody else does. So we are going to do a mock draft today on Yahoo, doing a 12-team draft, pick number 6. And we're going to see what kind of team we can build. And I'm very confident we're going to build a great team. And we're going to use my app, My Perfect Fantasy Draft, to find players. You can access my app through my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. Please go there today and check it out. And you can try the app out for free. If you like it, you can subscribe. You can unlock all the features and all the lists and all the league point schedules, including the PPR list. So that is not available on the free version. So go over, try it out. I'm telling you what, this is going to absolutely raise your game for the fantasy football season. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to set up a fully customized draft list. The quick setup only takes 3 questions. How does your league score points? We're going to select 1 point per 1 PPR. And then, do you want to engage Jimmie's recommended player filters? We're going to go ahead and say yes. And then, do you want to engage draft mode? And yes, we just need to answer 2 questions. The size of the league. And it just takes a second to pop in there. There we go. And then our draft position 6. So you can see the player list right here. Here's the position filters. Over here, if you have any question about what any of the columns are or what the little icons mean, just click on the legend button right here. Likewise, we've got the draft mode tabs. This represents each round of the draft. So we're just going to use this as we're going through the draft to pick players. We have recommendations, which I'm going to minimize, so we just see the names. And you can see for the first round that the app is recommending Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce, and Todd Gurley. So we got 3 great choices to start the draft. I do always like to start with a running back. And you can see here, if we just filter for just running backs, you can see that there's a couple of long shots. Alvin Kamara, Ezekiel Elliott, David Johnson, all guys that are long shots that may be available by the time our pick comes around. But what the long shot means is that it is a 50-50 shot or less that they will be available. Likewise, down here at the bottom of the list, you see the little hands. Those are reaches. And what that means is these are the players that are going to become long shots on the next round. So this basically indicates that if you really want Dalvin Cook, you know, there's less than a 50-50 chance he'll make it to your second pick. So if you really, really want him, you should take him this round. Although this app is not recommending that you take Dalvin Cook this round. But you can see besides Todd Gurley, James Conner, Joe Mixon are all at the top of the list. So we have lots of options. We can see that the draft has already started. And if we just show all the players, basically what you're looking at here is all the players between our first pick and our second pick. So our first pick is pick number 6, and our second pick is pick number 19. And if we filter this by draft position, you can see we're seeing all the players between pick number 3 before our pick and pick number 20 after our next pick. But instead of it being sorted by draft position or sorted by some arbitrary top 200 list, the players are sorted by their VORC score. That's this column right here. VORC stands for Value, Outlook, Reliability, and Consistency. It's these 4 columns right here, and based on how they score on each of these columns, they get points. Then those points are added up, and that becomes the VORC score. And if you hover over the number, you can see how they receive points for these things. And then you can also see that some players score very well on the VORC score and some players score very poorly. Well, you can look and see why. You know, why does Melvin Gordon score so poorly? Why does Nick Chubb score so poorly? And my general rule is just stick to the top half of the list. Those are the players that you want to focus on. And so you can see here that the first round always goes incredibly slowly here on these mock drafts. I'm going to pause the video. We'll come back when it's our pick, and we'll see who is available and who we're going to get. All right, so it's almost back to our pick, and you can see there's still some very intriguing guys on the list. David Johnson, one of those players that's listed as a long shot for us. You can see him here. He is listed as a long shot, but he rates better than any of the other 3. So that is the player that you should take. And what I say is if you have a long shot that has a higher VORC score than the players you're targeting, take that player. David Johnson would absolutely be a great choice. We'll see if he makes it to us. Of course, Casper looks like he's going to take his full 90 seconds to make his decision. I'm going to go ahead and put him on the queue. And let me tell you this is another thing that I like to do. I like to use the queue feature on the draft board because not only does it highlight those players so I don't miss them, it also lets me know if one of those players happens to fall to my next pick. And those are great. Those are great to know. You don't want to accidentally bypass a better player from a prior round. So I use the queue feature very liberally, and it works very well. And you should too, especially when you're using this app. And as we're going through, you'll see. Yeah, you'll see how it works. So Casper will make the auto pick decision. And he did not take David Johnson. So David Johnson is the top choice in the draft for us, according to the Vork score. So let's go ahead and we will start this draft out. We'll take DJ. I think that's a great way to open the draft. Now, all we need to do now is click on round 2. And you can see that round 2, it is recommending now Mike Evans, George Kittle, Kerryon Johnson. Great choices. Now, I always like to balance my team with an elite wide receiver in the second round. And the reason is because, the first round is always very heavy running backs. Usually 8 or 9 come off the board, but only 3 or 4 wide receivers come off the board. So there are still fantastic receivers to be gotten in the second round. Mike Evans is one of my favorites, and I love his upside this year. If we look at other wide receivers, you can see Juju Smith-Schuster is a long shot for us. TY Hilton is a reach. I think we should put all these guys on the queue, and we'll see what happens. And we'll also see if anybody happens to fall from the prior round to this next round. So I'll go ahead. I'm going to pause the video. We'll queue everything up, and we will be right back. All right, so it's almost back to our pick right now. And look, James Conner still on the board. Joe Mixon still on the board. I do very much like the idea of taking them with our second round pick if they do make it back to us. Mike Evans, T.Y. Hilton still there. So Juju did not make it back to us, but we knew he was a long shot from the beginning. And, oh, look at that. Someone took Evans, and then someone took Mixon, but look, Connor's still on the board. Now, T.Y. Hilton, although he's good, his value isn't fantastic for this. I mean, he's fair value, right? But let's definitely take Connor with the second pick. And we can target a wide receiver in the third round because again, T.Y. Hilton could make it back to us, but you can see also that we have great players, great options. Brandon Cooks, Adam Thielen, Robert Woods. These guys are all top notch. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to pause the video. I'll queue these guys up. We'll come back. We'll see who's available, and we'll make our selection. All right, so it's almost back to us again, and you can see that T.Y. Hilton is still on the board. Now, T.Y. Hilton I very much like in the third round. His value rank, again, 21, but in the third round, we're at pick 30. So all of a sudden, he goes from a fair value player to an undervalued player. That's how you win fantasy football, man. Value at every pick. You're always looking for the best value players that you can. So that is just something you need to focus on. My app's going to very easily show you. All you got to do is check the value column. Just compare the value column to your pick, and you will know in a second if they are undervalued or overvalued or fair valued. All right. And it just makes life easier. He is still on the board. Look at that. It made it back to us. So let's go ahead. We'll take T.Y. Hilton with our third pick. That's a very nice wide receiver 1. I'm glad that we were able to get him in the third round. Now, fourth round, we can go with another wide receiver if we want. And there's some great options. Look, Tyler Boyd, Chris Godwin, Evan Engram if we want to go for a tight end. I think those are all great choices. Normally, I have been recommending that you go 4 of your first 5 picks as running backs, but I got to say I'm modifying it because today there's 2 guys you need to get in the middle rounds. In the 6th round, you need to get Eckler. In the 7th round, you need to get Darwin Thompson. So that kind of frees up the 4th and 5th round to get yourself a nice tight end and another wide receiver. So let's go ahead. We'll get these guys queued up, and then we will come back, see who we end up with, and we'll move on from there. So I'm just going to pause. All right, so it has come back to us, and you can see all our 3 guys made it. I really like the idea of going with Godwin. We didn't get Evans, but I think Godwin's going to be a great upside player to get as well. Engram is also very intriguing at this point. He's probably the best value tight end that's not in the top 3. So I just think taking him in the 4th round is just so early. I'd love him if he makes it to the 5th. Let's take Godwin. Because I think the Tampa Bay offense is going to be better than the Cincinnati offense. And now we can go to the 5th round, and if we look at tight ends on the 5th round, Evan Engram is a long shot, but we could get Hunter Henry or O.J. Howard, although I'm not recommending O.J. at this point. But Hunter Henry, I think, would be a great choice. So we could certainly get him. The app is recommending DJ Moore, Sterling Shepard, Phillip Lindsay. We can queue those guys up as well. Let's just see who I'm going to pause. Let's see who makes it back, and we'll make our decision. Okay, so the app is moving very quickly right now, and actually Evan Engram did make it to our 5th pick. I love him much better as a 5th round guy. It's much better for his value, and really tight ends are chronically overvalued. So let's go ahead. We'll take Engram as our tight end, and now that we're in we are going into the 6th round, we can look at another running back if we want to go that route. The app is recommending Jarvis Landry, Allen Robinson, Aaron Rodgers. So those guys are good choices. I certainly wouldn't mind having any of them. As far as running backs go, what running backs? We got Lamar Miller, Tevin Coleman, Austin Eckler. Okay, now Austin Eckler's a reach on this round, but I do definitely want to get him on my team. So this is one of those gambles, right? If we wait till the 7th round, he's going to be a long shot. I don't really know if I want to take that gamble. Let's go ahead and get Eckler, and we absolutely should be able to get him this early, which will be fantastic. These other guys, though, just not interested, man. Lamar Miller, look at the value rank, 77. Tevin Coleman, value rank 80. Miles Sanders, value rank 108. We're at pick 67. Okay, all these guys are overvalued. So you want to just stay away from them. Eckler has a value of 84th, but his value is going to go up the longer the Gordon holdout happens. And actually, I've set the date for Monday that if nothing happens there, I'm going to start upping his projections and lowering Gordon's projections in response. So let's just pause the video until it gets back to us. We'll see who we end up with, but I think we'll definitely be able to get Eckler at this point. All right, so it came back to us, and wouldn't you know it, someone sniped Eckler. Ooh, I am very mad at that. Even though we were going early on him, that is just, that's very frustrating, but that's a part of fantasy football. We could absolutely grab our wide receivers at this time, or if we are really nervous about this, we can grab the other guy who I want to get as far as the running backs goes, and that is Darwin Thompson. Where's Darwin on my list? How come he's not showing up here? Okay, Darwin's in the 8th round. So where are we again? We are at pick 6. So let's go Landry, Robinson, Rodgers. We could get ourselves an elite quarterback at this point. If we look at the quarterbacks, Rodgers and Matt Ryan are this round. Cam Newton, Carson Wentz are next round. I kind of like the idea of maybe going with Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to have a bounce back year for sure. Is he still on the board? Let's check the quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers is still there. Look, Deshaun Watson still there. Wow. Okay, so we are still doing pretty good with as far as quarterbacks go, and we could totally take. Let's just take the top play right now. Deshaun Watson. He's a top 5 quarterback in my book. I really like what he can do. So let's go ahead and we'll take Deshaun Watson as our quarterback. And now let's go to the 7th round. And again, we got Robby Anderson, Christian Kirk, Royce Freeman. Those are the recommendations. I would definitely be all up for taking Robby Anderson for sure. That would be a great 3rd wide receiver and give us some much needed depth in that position. Now, we've only taken 2 running backs at this point, so we are a little bit off the reservation as far as that is concerned, but I'm not too concerned. Let's see here. Kirk and Freeman. I'm going to put them up too. So we'll go Kirk and Freeman. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pause until we get to the next pick, and we'll see who's available and who we're going to get. Okay, so we are back. It is our pick. Robby Anderson still on the board. And Darwin Thompson, this is the guy I want to get on the next pick. We should be able to get him. We should not get sniped because we're going early on him. And the word still isn't fully out on this guy. But you can see that he is currently ranked at 105 on the draft board. So he has definitely moved up substantially in the past day, just in the past day. Yesterday, he was in the 160s. Okay, that's how quickly things are changing right now in fantasy football. And if you want to get these guys, you're going to have to go early. But let me tell you what, Darwin Thompson definitely has RB1 upside if he takes over the lead role in that offense, which I think he has a very good chance to do. And if he does that, that's going to make your team. Your team's going to be that much better. So, Damian Williams is not someone who is terribly impressive to me. And so, let's just wait and see what happens here. Hopefully these guys, these last two picks, don't snipe Darwin from us, just like we got Austin Eckler sniped. Boy, I even went early on Eckler, and I didn't get him. That's kind of annoying. But it happens. That's just a part of the fantasy draft. Great. Darwin Thompson did make it back to us here at the 8th round, so he is a great choice. He's our third running back, and we're going to go get ourselves some high upside running backs in the next round. So I'm just going to pause the video, and we will come back with our next pick. All right, so in the 9th round, you can see that the app is recommending Larry Fitzgerald, Austin Hooper, the tight end. We do not need another tight end. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. These guys are both nice high upside players. For running backs, though, who do we got? Just guys that they're just not good. Look at how terrible these values are. There's no upside here. So I think we should go with another wide receiver. Let's see here. If we just filter for wide receivers, we can see there's Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And when we look at the other options, Kiki Kuti, Pettis, Moncrief, Washington, Allison, these guys at best are lateral moves, and some of them are downgrades from MVS. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take him. And let's now jump to the 10th round. And in the 10th round, you can see the app is recommending Jared Goff. Now, we already got our quarterback, so we don't really need to worry about that position anymore. But it looks like this is going to be a pretty thin round for players. And look at all the one-star outlook players on this round. So I'm not sure I want to deal with any of that. Let's look at running backs. Any good running backs? Breida, Hyde, Ronald Jones. Okay, so none of these guys are great. So what I like to recommend is in my app, if you get into a situation where you find you don't need the player on the recommends, or there's no recommended players, which does happen occasionally, just jump to the next round. See who's on the list. So let's look at running backs for the next round. Matt Breida, Jalen Richard, Kalen Ballage. That guy might have some upside. Deion Lewis, Carlos Hyde, Adrian Peterson, Justin Jackson. We could take the other. We didn't get Eckler. We could take Jackson. That would be a good choice too, I think. So why don't we queue up Jackson and Ballage for the next round here, and we will go to the running backs. And let's see here. So we've got there's Ballage, and there's Jackson right there. Awesome. Okay. So we will see if who of those guys we are going to grab. I kind of like the idea of going with Jackson a little bit more than, well, I don't know, maybe Ballage has more upside. The problem is that Kenyon Drake is injured right now, so Ballage is getting all the work, which is great. And but once Drake comes back, his role is going to be reduced. Whereas someone like Justin Jackson is going to be sharing time with Austin Eckler, and he's going to have a significant role on a good offense. So let's go with the better offense. Let's go with Jackson on this round. And let's jump to the 12th round. And you can see here's one of my favorite players to pick up, Justice Hill. Lamar Jackson, one of my favorite late-round quarterbacks. New England Patriots, a great defense to get for this fantasy season. Got a great early season schedule. But Justice Hill, we need more running backs, and I really like the idea of going with Justice. There he is right there. Jaylen Samuels is another guy who I like, and he might be available on a later round. Is he anywhere? Right now, he is not. So let's just go ahead and go with this. We'll go with Justice. We should be able to get him. And you can see that for the next round, Tony Pollard's on the list. Tony Pollard, right now, yeah, I think you definitely got to get him because just because of the issues related to Zeke. Zeke just rejected the contract offer that the Cowboys gave him. He doesn't want it. He wants more money, and he's going to hold out. And guess who's going to be the primary beneficiary? It's going to be Tony Pollard. Guess who they played the first 3 weeks? 3 cream puffs. You got the Giants, you got Washington, and you got the Dolphins. Those are the first 3 opponents. It's going to be very productive time for whoever the running back is on Dallas. And Tony Pollard looks like he's going to be the guy. So Let's see here. So we got all these guys queued up right now. It is back to us. You can see Ballage made it back to us, but I'm going to take Hill just because Hill's one of my favorites right now this season. As far as running backs go with upside, I just love that offense in Baltimore. I love what they have going on, and I just can't wait to see it. And I think this guy, Justice Hill's got an Alvin Kamara skill set, so definitely I'm all in on that. If he turns into someone who can play like Alvin Kamara, guess what? You just won your league, right? So we're going to keep on going here. And I love the idea of going with Pollard on this round. Who else is it recommending? Adam Humphries, Mohamed Sanu. And at this point, I think we've got, how many wide receivers do we have? I think we've got 5. 1, 2, 3. We've got 4. Okay, so we're good on wide receivers. I think I'll get one more after this round, but definitely want to get Pollard. His value went up today, so we'll definitely get him. I'm just going to pause till it's our pick, and we'll see if we get him. All right, so Tony Pollard did get sniped. We got sniped on another player, but that's okay. I see Jaylen Samuels is still on the board. Given that we did take James Conner, I think he's a great handcuff to have. So let's go ahead and take Samuels. And now we want to definitely move back to wide receivers. Who do we have in this next round? Deebo Samuel. Okay, that's a good one. What other wide receivers are available this round? Sanu's a long shot. Brown is a long shot. I like the idea of going with Deebo. Let's go ahead and get that. We'll get a high upside rookie who may be able to do something significant. So let's go ahead and cue him. And let's see here. Who else is on this list? Mark Andrews. We don't need another tight end. Devin Singletary, who is he still even on the board? Let's see if he's still there. He should be. Yeah, he's right there. Although, it's going to take a lot to get him to upgrade, to move up from, ahead of LaShawn McCoy and Frank Gore. Even though those guys are both geriatric, they're still effective. And so I'm not sure he's going to be able to get enough to be fantasy relevant this season. But next season, boy, I'll tell you what, if you got a keeper league or if you got a dynasty league, I'd definitely get him on there. But okay, so Deebo is still available. So let's go ahead. We'll bolster our wide receivers. And let's look at the 15th round here. What do we got going on? Kirk Cousins, Damian Harris, Mecole Hardman. Let's close it out with another high upside running back. Damian. Oh, you know what? I have been talking about Mecole. Let's get him. I think he has a great potential to be a very effective rookie wide receiver. So let's go ahead and put him on the list. He is still available. That sounds good. We'll also give Damian Harris. We'll put him on the queue, and we will probably go. Let's see here. I mean, Mecole is certainly a great upside pick because he's playing behind Sammy Watkins, who is a guy that can't stay on the field, and we're talking the top offense in the league. So I think we definitely need to take advantage of this. And should anything happen to Sammy Watkins, Mecole immediately becomes a wide receiver too. So you gotta take these things when you can get them. And that would be our final bench slot. And then of course we just have to take our defense and our kicker. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pause the video and we will come back and we will review this team and see what we think. It looks pretty good. I like it. It looks really good. Okay, so we're back. So let's review this team and see what we think. I think it's pretty good. I got to say, first of all, for our running backs, David Johnson, James Conner, Darwin Thompson, Justin Jackson, Justice Hill, Jaylen Samuels, and that's it. Okay, so that's a great core of running backs. Our top two are fantastic, so I'm very happy with that. Now, wide receivers, TY Hilton, Chris Godwin, Robby Anderson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and then Deebo Samuel and Mecole Hardman. So we got a couple rookies in there, so I think I'm very happy with that core of wide receivers. Our tight end is Evan Engram. And our quarterback is Deshaun Watson. I went in and I took the Eagles defense and Mason Crosby as our kicker. So overall, this is a great team. And, I would have been a little bit happier if we got Austin when I was trying to get him, but it didn't happen this game. So that's part of the game, right? I mean, every draft is different. And there's always going to be a couple of players that go super early, and then there's a couple of players that are available super late. If you remember, James Conner wasn't supposed to make it to our round. TY HIlton wasn't supposed to make it to our round. And so we got nice value in those players by being able to take them around later than we normally do. So thank you very much for watching. So once again, please go to my website, fantasyfootballmaverick.com. Check out the app. Try it out for free. There's a restricted version you can use for free. And if you like it, you can subscribe, unlock all the features, including the PPR list, which is real important. Don't use my standard points list on a PPR draft because it won't work. But I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And of course, send me a message if you want to find out more about players or whatever. I'm happy to hear from you. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic draft. I hope you draft a killer team today, and have a good one.